Trump threw a multi-million-dollar parade and got outshined by weather. So, Paw blew through our tax dollars yesterday on a parade. For himself. Not for the troops. Not for the country. Not even for the Girl Scouts. Just for his fragile ego. It was crickets down there, baby. Empty chairs, sad little flags, and about 3 folks in attendance who smelled like Bengay and Reaganomics. I ain't saying they were old, but one of them pulled out a flip phone and asked where the rotary dial went. And right when Trump thought he was doing something big, boom, rain. I literally said, won't he do it? Because when even the sky is sick of your foolishness, that is divine intervention. That's heavenly shade, baby. He blew millions of dollars to throw himself a little pity parade and couldn't even fill up the sidewalk. He tried to rebrand failure as leadership, but it didn't work. Sir, your base is shrinking faster than your hairline. And if this whole parade thing was supposed to be a power move, it backfired like a 92 Buick.
Everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing amazing. Thank you so much for clicking on this episode. I really do appreciate your love and support on this channel. So on 14th June 2025, there was the parade that most of you are actually talking about that was held at Washington, D.C. and people didn't attend. And the funny thing about this, yeah, there is a number of people that actually attended these, but the turnout was not as expected. And the funny thing is about how the parade was and how they were actually marching, and people are actually making fun of these. And I've gathered a few clips for these guys, and it's crazy because this is actually showing you how tired the citizens are. I mean, with all the support that this guy was getting during the campaigns and the support that he got during the elections, unless we have to question ourselves really, because I hope that those people that actually are Trump diehard supporters would actually be there to support him. It was his birthday, it was the army parade, and people opted to go for protest rather than going to parade and support the guy that they actually voted for. It's crazy, right? Let us watch these videos together, guys. Every clip and every stitch that you'll be seeing on our today's episode, credits belongs to the original creators of these videos that you're seeing on your screens. If you're coming across this channel for the first time, my good name is Gracie D. Kindly consider subscribing to this channel. Give this video a like and let me know what your thoughts are on the comment section. Also, let me know, did you go to protest out there, no King's Parade protest, or did you actually attend the parade? Let me know in the comment section. So let's just dive right ahead and we'll come back with more commentary.
For those of you that's saying that the military is loyal to Donald J. Trump, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you they are not. The reason why I say this is because out of the 14 years that I served in the Army, and as an NCO myself, when the troop morale is up, you will see it in their performance. When troop morale is down, you will see it in their performance. I'm saying this because I know for a fact that the troop morale was low. I know for a fact that those service members did not put their 100% into their performance in the parade. The marching that I witnessed was appalling. And as an NCO, I would have reamed all of them. Why? Because they were out of step. And that is one thing that is drilled into you when you go through boot camp, when you go through basic training, is drill and ceremony. They drill the shit out of you until, like, if you have 2 left feet, you will not have 2 left feet by the time you're done with training. A lot of people are saying that these are paid actors. I personally don't believe that this particular group right here are paid. Why? Because if you look at their hand position, that is only acquired through training. And if he would have used civilians, they wouldn't know how to place their hands like that. When you serve under the UCMJ, when you are actively serving under the UCMJ, we are not allowed to participate in anything political. We are not allowed to participate in any type of protesting. But we have what's called silent protesting. When we don't like something, or if our morale is down, we rebel. And we call it a silent rebellion. We call it a silent protest. And this right here is a silent protest. They did not perform the way that they were supposed to perform. This is what everyone was expecting. This is what Donald J. Trump wanted to see. But what do we get instead? This is what we got instead. Look at that. Low morale. They did not want to be there. They didn't choose to be there. They did not give their 100%. Why? Because of this administration. Regime. So, ladies and gentlemen, the military had one job to do. One job to do. And they did it. They did not come through for Donald J. Trump. They did not give him what he wanted. And that was a perfect, picturesque parade. Very militaristic. They purposefully sabotaged his parade.
Donald Trump's birthday parade is underway in DC, and the first images coming out of this parade are very shocking because if we're not a communist country, and if we're not North Korea, and if we're not Russia, why is this so communist coded? If you look at these images, there are thousands of military men marching in sync. There are tanks, there are missiles. It is a extra show of military strength and might, with Donald Trump and his entire cabinet sitting on stage in the middle of the parade. The crowd turnout has been severely less than expected. We know that Donald Trump was maybe hiring people to come, and it seems like the lawns along the National Theater seem very scarce and very empty. This is happening while there are over 2,100 protests happening around the country. Currently, there is clashing between military, police, and SWAT in Los Angeles as they are protesting, as is their First Amendment right.
So in case you missed any of this, let's run it back. Yesterday was the 250th anniversary of the Army. It was also Donald Trump's birthday, while millions of Americans was protesting No King's Day. Now, some are going to say Donald Trump is looking like this because it was pretty humid yesterday, but others are going to say that he's looking like this because he wasted $45 million for no one to show up yesterday. We had Trump supporters out there doing what they always do, trying to start some bullshit. We had the police shooting tear gas at protesters. And it was everywhere. In certain cities, people were getting pepper sprayed by the police, as if they signed up for this shit. And yet, still, $45 million was wasted for a parade that hardly no one showed up to. So what did we learn from this? No one was happy yesterday, not Trump, not the American people, and a whole lot of money was wasted. And what's even worse, things are going to go right back to how they was come Monday. But hey, this is who y'all voted for.
Everybody talking about the Trump parade yesterday, how the crowd sizes and didn't nobody show up and all this other stuff. Now, let's talk about how the soldiers were out of step. I was flabbergasted. They were ate up. The soldiers were out of step. I mean, on national TV, in front of the President of the United States of America, they were out of step. It drove me crazy. And I know I wasn't the only one. I know somebody else out there caught that, but it drove me crazy. It was no decorum in that. Man, look. Man, look, I don't know what's going on in the Army these days, but ain't no way that those soldiers were supposed to be marching like that. They were marching like crap. And it wasn't just one platoon or one unit or one battalion. It was damn near everybody. I mean, it was just so... Like, what's going on here? What's going on here? Did the Army all of a sudden decide to not teach marching?
So let me get this straight. This administration came through the door talking about how they wanted to get the budget back under control because us as Americans have been spending uncontrollably to the point where we are in a bind. And they said the best way to do that was by cutting the workforce. So they cut a whole lot of people's jobs. They cut a lot of people's insurance. They cut a lot of aid off to like countries where people needed that aid to stay alive. Like let that sink in. And they did that all in the name of saving money on our budget, right? But today we wake up and the president has decided to spend $45 million of taxpayers' money on a parade to celebrate his birthday and the military's birthday at the same time. Like if that makes any sense in even saying that. Like, if there's any sense to be found in that, that's what he said that he was doing. But he spent $45 million to do it. And I feel like that's crazy because, one, it got rained out. Two, nobody showed up. And three, he was on the sidelines, like sitting there with egg on his face because all of this shit is ridiculous. And I feel that if anybody else, any other president had done this shit, they wouldn't be able to find a job at Walmart nor the local CVS because us as Americans would have rejected him. But it's amazing that this man has gotten this far. You got to take in mind, they came in the door talking about how they wanted to save money on the budget and how they were making cuts right and left. And then they started spending money on ridiculously stupid shit. Like, you got to take in mind, they upped our military spending budget, and we didn't even need the military to be like that. Like I guess that invested in. We had already as a country been investing in our military. That's just what we do. But he thought it was a good idea to cut all of the money that went to things that were actually needed just to bolster the military. Like, you got to take in mind, this man doesn't know what the fuck he is doing, and we are sitting here watching it. But I feel like, watching like him have this parade today and seeing all of the No Kings protests that were going on, and seeing how us as Americans, we are uniting against like his regime and the shit that he's trying to push out. Seeing that made me feel so American, that it made me think in my mind that, I think America, we are coming to the overall consensus that he is full of bullshit, and like, we need to get him out. And this, like, seeing these No King protests pop up really let us know that, we all are arriving on the same page. Because, I've said this before, that the things that he's doing, it goes beyond politics. Like, it goes beyond like politics. It's a battle of morality, because in one breath you can say, hey man, I don't want all these illegal people in my country, you know what I mean? But at the same time, if these people are already over there and they have kids, and those kids are now citizens, and you want to send the parents back, home, what life does that make for the child? Like, you got to take in mind, it's no longer just politics, it's morality. Like, and if you're okay with, sending a child, like I guess sending a child to live in a country away from their family because you deported their parents, then I feel like you're a fucked up individual. Like, you personally are a terrible fucking person, and your morals are fucked up. So it wouldn't surprise me that you would align yourself with somebody like him. But I feel like, the world is starting to wake up, and people are starting to realize that, the morality of it, that they're starting to realize, what really matters. And what really matters is that we don't break up families, you know what I mean? And it's not like, even using that as a crutch, but we don't break up families. Families, if they're over here and they're together and they have made it, you know what I mean? And one of them is a citizen, or they're in the process of working it out, let that legislation play out. And if they get, certified to be over here, they get certified. And if they don't, then, you have the access to deport them. But until those things are, I guess, processed and they're given that chance to get these things done, I feel like everything that this man is doing is just filled out of hate. So seeing everything, like come together with the No Kings protest today, that really made me feel like an American, and it made me feel like we really are, getting somewhere. So y'all let me know what y'all think. This video went a little longer than expected, but like I said, I'm really happy to see us uniting against something that needs to be put out of office, because like until it's out of office, there is nothing that we really can do as a country. And I mean, like, far as growing, like truly growing, we can't grow long as that tumor is in the White House. So
I see tons of posts about that freaking parade the other day. And the military. This is supposed to be this Trump parade, right? Listen, coming from someone who grew up on military bases, and coming from someone who used to watch them march, okay? They don't march like that. Okay. When I saw it, I was like, what are they doing? And I was like, they don't want to be there. They're not marching. Our soldiers don't look like that. Our soldiers do not look like that. Okay? They don't look like that. They didn't want to be there. That's not something they wanted to do. They were basically walking. They weren't in step. Nothing. They didn't want to be there. So I applaud them for not wanting to be there, because that was a whole waste of time. But for anybody wondering, is that how the United States military marches? Absolutely not. No, they do not. They don't march like that. Not even close. I mean, they are hold down together. They don't march like that. For anyone who is not familiar with living on base, no, they have it together. That thing is tight. Okay? It's real tight. I don't know what that was. Yes, I do. It was a protest. Yeah, okay. So if we got to be out here, Thrumper, then we just gonna walk. That's what it was.
Do you know the saddest thing about Trump's military birthday parade is as I'm watching the memes and the videos of the tank rolling down the very quiet, empty street to crickets, passing the very empty bleachers, Trump has now put our service members in a position to be the butt of the joke. And it makes me uncomfortable to make our service members the butt of the joke. You know what I mean? Okay, so for any service members, are you required to go to these sorts of things? Because I feel even worse. Or is this like the MAGA arm? You know what I mean? Then like, okay. But I don't know, I feel like when they were walking out the different troops and giving like the historical background, the Buffalo Soldiers, all these things, it could have been cute. It could have been kind of cute, but you cut their benefits. Remember when you cut their benefits? Remember when some are unaliving themselves because you cut their last hope? So yeah, not to you.
Over 5 million people that protested for No King's Day. Not even a fraction of that was at the military parade today that happened in DC. Donald Trump is definitely in his flop era. This parade today was one of the biggest flops and one of the biggest stains on this term for him as a president. If you look at the footage from the parade, there was literally no one on the sidelines of the parade at all. And they put up all these barricades and all these preparation for people to come. And the people didn't even take the bait to get paid to come. Versus when you look at cities like Los Angeles, had tens of thousands, if not 100,000 people come protest. San Diego had more people than LA. I've never seen this many people turn out to protest a sitting president. And it was over 2,100 protests worldwide to say, we do not support tyranny, we do not support fascism, and we do not support the rise of another dictator. So yeah, I'm sure tomorrow he's gonna put up a press conference saying it was the most crowds ever, big crowds, more crowds than you ever seen, big beautiful crowds. But in reality, it was a huge flop.
Yeah, guys, so on this same day, this guy was turning 79 years old. And, I think there should be a law that says that you should not be running for presidency when you're over 60. Because I don't understand why these old people are still, want to be in charge and, rule the world and, their countries. 79 years old, it should be time for you to be relaxing, going on vacations, having a good time with your grandchildren rather than you being in office. That is just my own personal thought. I don't know what you think about it, but if I was asked or if I was to make a law, I would say that there shouldn't be any person running for any political seat who is over 60 years old, because it's crazy with everything that I've seen happening. Like, this guy removed so many benefits from the American citizens, and the reason is to why, like, they want to save money and cut costs. But tell me why he used 45 million US dollars of taxpayer funds, for these parades, the Trump military style parade that was held in Washington, DC was on June 14th, 2025, which actually marked the US Army 250th anniversary and this coincided with his 79th birthday. It's being said that this cost the federal government between 25 million US dollars and 45 million US dollars, with many estimates settling at around 45 million for the army portion alone, not including security and local costs. So they're saying the army owns estimate alone was around 25 million to 45 for the parade and festivals. So up to, like, you know, they used up to 45 million in taxpayers fund, and you still want to come here and tell people that you really are trying to save money, you really are trying to save America, when you're using all this money just for a parade. And you know, I've also seen some news outlets saying that, or criticize the parade as costly birthday party, because this is the same day that Trump was actually turning 79 years old. People are saying this money could have been used for healthcare, for these veterans that we've seen them creating videos out there crying because this administration is taking away all their benefits that they've actually worked so hard for. Even like looking at what has been the estimate cost of everything that has happened, the only thing that has been stated, or what people, you know, most people are coming up with, is the cost of the parade plus the army festivals. So that is what has been reported most, as 45 million US dollars was for army only. Other costs like security, roads, cleanup, that was not stated. So this thing might have cost a lot more than what people are actually seeing online. And it's sad the fact that people are out here crying to get all these benefits that this administration is taking away from people, but they want to use taxpayers' funds to pay such things that are not helping the citizens in any way. And you know that this is the same day that there were widespread protests in the US, the anti-Trump and anti-authoritarian groups, which organized nationwide protests under the slogan "No Kings in America." It's crazy that all these were actually happening in the same day. It was his birthday, it was the parade, and the "No Kings in America" protests that were actually taking in place. And the protest turnout was strong in multiple cities, especially like in Washington, D.C., where some would-be attendees may have stayed away to avoid conflict or disruption, but most went to these protests. They chose to go to the protest rather than going to this parade. It's quite crazy, and this is actually showing people, like, and it's showing the world and also to the president himself that people are actually tired of everything that's happening. Like, the citizens are tired of the life that they're actually living right now currently because of all these policies that you've put there. Groceries are getting expensive each and every single day. Some foods are actually rotting, or some produce are rotting in the farms because there are no people to work on the produce. You're like detaining all immigrants that were actually working in these farms, when he promised that he's gonna be detaining or deporting criminals, where that is not the case, and that's not what's happening. You know, taking away all these benefits from veterans, people who actually put their lives in line to fight for this country, but you are in a position to be able to spend over 45 million US dollars just for a parade when your citizens are suffering. I mean, this parade, if it hasn't sent a message to him and his administration yet, then there is something wrong and someone needs to step up. And some of the comments that I actually saw, or some of the tweets that I saw on X, like this one say, "It was the worst executed mass attendance event I've ever seen. How do you spend $80 million and fumble the basics?" That was on X. This other one was, "Every single soldier looks like he would rather be storming Omaha Beach. Trump may have wanted a China or Russia style show, but this felt poorly choreographed." I mean, the soldiers themselves were already tired. If you take everything else he's done, this parade may just be window dressing. It's the worst kind of window dressing. So it's just so crazy, guys. But there was so many, you know, No Kings movement protests that were mobilized, and they're saying that over 1,800 plus events in cities and towns across all 50 states, with organizers estimating 4 to 6 million participants, vastly outnumbering parade attendees. And you know, you also the signs that these demonstrators or the protests were actually carrying no to Trump's fascist military parade and a giant articulate puppet of Trump in a crown and throne, or peaceful rallies. I mean, Americans are just like, and I'm sure you all saw the signs that these protesters or demonstrators were actually carrying, and some with, you know, they had messages on those signs that they were carrying, and also like a lot that we've seen there, that I'm sure if you go on TikTok and you look at these mass protests that were actually happening in the states, in different states, you'll see the signs that people are carrying, and they should already send a loud and clear message to him and the person that is actually advising him and his administration. I don't know what your thoughts are, guys, or on these. And I also was looking at how many people that actually voted for him in the country, but I was hoping out of the 77 million there will be at least like 800,000 in attendance for this parade, but that was not the case. I was really surprised also to see this. The fact that I see so many people creating videos and supporting him, and so many people on the comment section always supporting him. If you say anything negative about him, there are always people on the comment section to fight you or anything of this sort. But where were these people during this parade? Why did they not attend or support him? Let me know what your thoughts are on the comment section. Thank you so much for watching up to this part, and until the next episode, bye.